Hey everybody, Steve here, and welcome to day 11 of my crypto challenge. And today, I'm one day away from when my cryptocurrency becomes unlocked in Binance, and then I can start trading it on chain and get it out of their exchange. So I've got one more day. So I decided to really start looking into what I'm going to do next. And that led me into exploring the idea of stablecoins. That's what I'm going to talk about today. So, what are stablecoins? Why are they important? And I think this is really going to be helpful for me as I start getting into figuring out how to swap cryptocurrencies because stablecoins play an important role. So, let's get into what are they? So, first of all, stablecoins, they're pegged to the US dollar. So, roughly, the super simple way to think about it always is that one unit of a stable coin, one token, is equal to one United States dollar. So I've got up here some of the, not all of them, but some of the more well-known stable coins. There's many others, but there's one called USDC. That's USDC coin or USD coin. The one that's probably most relevant for me right now, because I have assets in Binance, is the Binance USD. And I can buy some of that, and then I'll be able to transfer that off to the Binance Smart Chain network and then start doing some things there. I'll get into that later. There's also one called Tether, and there's one called DAI, and many, many others. So what's interesting about it is like, how the heck are these pegged to the US dollars? And I'm not an economist. I understand how this works in theory, but basically each one of these stable coins has some type of documentation, some more credible than others, but they're backed by some type of reserves or asset and other financial methods or some type of algorithm where they're trading, buying and selling to keep up at the same as a US dollar. So the more well-known ones are backed by actual cash assets. BUSD is the Binance one I mentioned earlier. They seem to have a lot more visibility to how they're backing them, but regardless, they have some type of backing. And I don't think that there's broad agreement that they're all stable. So they're considered volatile for long term. And that's why I have this, they're under scrutiny by regulators. And like I mentioned, some of these other type of stable coins are backed by other type of crypto assets, which tend to be volatile. So right here is the coin Tether. And you can see that if I were to buy one of those right now, it's $0.007. So really close to 1-for-1 backing there. And, this is, for me, I like it because it's simple to comprehend. And if you recall my example yesterday of where I had the river and we're on one side of the river, we're within the central exchange and we're looking over to the other side, which we are in decentralized land, and you can only use cryptocurrencies on the other side. A US dollar won't be able to be utilized over there. So you can exchange US dollars for these stable coins, and then you can go use those on decentralized apps. So that's what makes sense to me. You don't have to buy a crypto coin on a central exchange. You can buy a stable coin, which is a form of crypto coin, but you can buy a stable coin and just trade $1 for $1 stable coin and then move it on chain to go do something else. So that's why this is relevant. This makes sense to me. And I think it's probably going to be the way I move forward to do something else. So here's some examples. So there's a bunch of decentralized exchanges. One of them is called Uniswap. There's another type of stablecoin called DAI. And I just went there and typed in, if I had 20 of these, how much ETH would I get? And they gave me that result right there. So you can see I'd get 0.004. And right here in the bottom left, this is the price that I just looked up on Binance. So you can see, one ETH is 45.32 DAI, and over here it's 45.26 US dollars. So it's really, really close. And there's, $6 roughly difference. So that could have been just the factor of when I checked. It's probably a 15-minute delta there. So the point is, it really is close. If I want to go convert a stable coin for Ether somewhere else versus buying Ether on Binance. So that's the key exercise there. And then there's another exchange called Pancake Swap. And I just did some other examples just to see what would happen. Try to get an idea. So this starts to click in my mind. So in this case, I put in BUSD, which is the Binance stablecoin. $100 of that would get you this much ETH. And again, really close in terms of the pricing, 45.32, 45.26. The other part here is you can start to see what does it cost transactionally to buy these on these decentralized exchanges. So right now, if you recall, when I bought Ether on Coinbase the other day, I had to pay, I think it was $3.99 just for the privilege of buying cryptocurrency on their exchange. So that was a lot, about $100 worth, and they got charged $3.99 or $2.99. So it's either 3 or 4% fee that they took from me. And here, if I go to Binance and convert $100 of US to Binance stablecoin, almost one for one, then I can go to a decentralized exchange which supports BUSD. So Pancake Swap is one because they run on a Binance Smart Chain. Then I can buy my Ether there. So this is where it really started to click. I don't need to buy cryptocurrency on these centralized exchanges. I can use the centralized exchange as a gateway to buy a one-for-one stable coin, and then take the stable coin and transfer that to a different type of blockchain, in this case BSC. And then I can go buy other currencies, and not just buy, but I can participate in all the different type of applications they have, including NFTs. So this really started to click for me as here's how I'm going to navigate this as a beginner. And then the other example I want to show here is this is just another exchange called Sushi Swap. I'm just going into all these different exchanges that I can look at and just see what can I do with them. So this example here is where I wanted to show that if you're holding a bunch of cryptocurrency, let's say you go out, you buy a bunch of cryptocurrency, a bunch of different coins, you participate in different apps, maybe you create an NFT and you sell it, and you hold a bunch of cryptocurrency now, and you want to get out of that and convert it back to US dollars. Then this is how you can do it with decentralized apps. If you had Ether, in this example, you go exchange that Ether for USDC, which is another type of stable coin. Then you come back to an exchange and sell that USDC for US dollars at a 1-to-1 rate. So you can pull money out by using stable coins. That's the other thing that made sense to me. So that is it for today. I hope this is helpful. And again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out in the comments and let me know. But if you're interested in buying cryptocurrency assets, I think spending time on stablecoins makes a lot of sense. Really easy to understand. It removes a bit of the complexity, and then you can go do some other things with it. So my plan going forward is I'm going to either sell some of my current assets or just buy some more. But I'm going to buy the BUSD, that's the Binance USD stablecoin, and then I will withdraw that, and I'll withdraw it and move it to my wallet on the Binance Smart Chain. So then I'll have my wallet that will receive the funds over there, and we'll see how much that costs to move them, and I'll get a good idea of that. So that's just a good exercise, something I can do really easily once I can move my assets out of the central exchange after this 10-day holding period is over. All right. Thanks so much. I will talk to you soon.